and we are going to stay in the NFL here. And we're going to talk about the AFC North. That is because the Browns stunned the Ravens in comeback fashion. And the question that we have is, should the Browns be the favorites to win the AFC North? Say, the mic is yours to kick us off.
Yeah, I think you have to put them as a favorite. Even though their offense isn't lights out, has been playing the best game. We've been talking about it all day, winning the game in the trenches, and that's what the Browns have been able to do. Their defense is outstanding. They've been playing amazing this entire season. They've kept this Browns team afloat even after the Nick Chubb injury, even before when the season started, when Deshaun Watson was not playing his best football. This defense was staying at the top of the game, the top of the NFL. You could even make the argument, and they've been decimating teams left and right. It's tough to say stunning the Ravens because we've been seeing this Browns defense play like this all year. So it just seems like they were just outmatching the Ravens in every capacity. I think the Ravens, we've seen them be able to take apart offenses. Their defense is able to get pick sixes. Their offense is able to just move the chains, get touchdowns sporadically here and there. But we just saw this game after that first pick six. The Ravens got. We just saw the Browns just continue to claw and just climb through the gutter to just win this game. And I think they're gonna force a lot of teams to play in the mud with them and see who could survive the trenches. And I think the Browns right now, you have to put them as a clear favorite for the AFC North. This AFC North is a very tough division. Probably the most exciting to watch right now in football. And it's interesting to see what happens moving forward because all four teams are playing solid football defensively, and it'll be interesting to see which defense, at the end of the day, holds the title for that division. Right now, I have the Browns, but at any given Sunday, any of these teams can easily win the division, and that's kind of fun to watch as a fan.
Yeah. See how you just ended that? Any team can win this division. That's why they're not the clear front runner. It's too competitive in this division. We got everybody over 500, from Cincinnati to Pittsburgh to Baltimore to Cleveland. Tough division. So I don't have them as a clear front runner. I don't know who's going to win this division, to be quite frankly with you, because every team have shown that they can beat each other. And when you got a division that could beat up on each other like that, and it might come down to who win the most division wins, and it might come down to a tie record, and the tiebreaker be who got the most division wins or conference wins or something of this nature. It's gonna be a nail biter. But don't get me wrong, Cleveland is playing exceptionally well, but Baltimore is playing exceptionally well, although they just lost to Cleveland. Before Sunday, I thought Baltimore was the best team in the AFC. Okay, so just to be fair and clear, I'm like, yo, Baltimore look great. Before that, I thought Cincinnati, before they lost to the Texans, I said they might be the second best team in the AFC. But clearly, it's a lot of parity in the AFC. The AFC is real deep in its entirety, but this division is why it's that deep, because this division might get everybody in the playoffs. Right now, I think everybody's in the playoff hunt in this division, or might actually make the playoff itself with three wild cards. Might be a division winner, and the three wild cards could possibly come out of this division. That's how deep and tough this division is, and there's just no clear-cut favorite. And I don't really have an answer who is the clear-cut favorite, but just to be on your side, Zay, Cleveland is definitely up there.
Look, I mean, Cousin, who do you think is going to win the division? I don't think, I'm not sure if you missed.
Oh,
yeah. Who do you think is going to win the division?
If I had to put my money on, I'm picking Baltimore. Right, I like I said, I thought Baltimore, even though Cleveland just beat them, I had Baltimore as the best team in the AFC. So I'm not going to back off that from a week with a close loss. I will pick Baltimore to win the division, but I'm not saying that with confidence. Okay, I'm saying that if I had to pick one, I'd pick Baltimore.
All right, so look, I'm gonna go with the Browns. I'm gonna agree with Zay here. I think they should be the favorites, but I'm not going to give this division as much props as Cuzzo just did. He made it seem like this division is competitive for the right reasons. No, it's not. It's actually competitive for the wrong reasons. I'm not even sure I can trust any of these four teams long term, because when you're thinking about things from a long term perspective, right, we are thinking who can knock off Kansas City. And I'm not sure I see a team right now that can do that. Now, Cuzzo, when you made that take about Baltimore in Cincy, I agree with you then. I did. But this, unfortunately, is a week-to-week league, and things happen. Right now, the Bengals are in last place, making this upcoming Thursday night game against the Ravens a must-win game. Okay, they lose that game, it's going to be a lot of ground to cover to try to even get into the playoffs. That's number one. Number two, when you talk about the Ravens, you made one comment that I kind of got to check you on a little bit, because you said I'm not going to overreact to one loss. Actually, you should, because entering the fourth quarter, the last 7 games, the Ravens had 75 in the last 7 losses. Excuse me, in the last 7 losses of Lamar Jackson's career, they had at least a 75% win probability, okay, to win the game, and they blew it. Think about last year for a second as we come to this year. I have it right here because it's very important. Last season, the Ravens blew a 35-14 fourth-quarter lead against the Dolphins. They blew a 20-3 lead against the Bills last year in the rain. They came and won the football. The Bills I'm talking about here, and they blew that lead. They blew a 20-10 lead against I forgot who it was. I knew they blew
the Giants.
Giants, perfect. It was. They blew a 20-10 lead against the Giants fourth quarter. They blew a 19-10 fourth quarter lead to the Jaguars last year. And this year, they blew a 10-0 lead against the Steelers and a 31-17 fourth quarter lead to the Browns. My point being, they are not reliable. They're always choking big games. You can make the argument that all 3 losses they had was because they lost the game. Now, I'm not even confident that they can fix those issues because it's been plaguing them in the Lamar Jackson era. As much as I like Lamar Jackson, I started to give him his credit back. I named him my MVP last week. I got a flashback. I got a reality check in my mail that this team cannot win in the fourth quarter. If you can't win in the fourth quarter, how can I expect you to go to Mahomes' backyard and beat Mahomes in the fourth quarter? I can't expect that. So when you're talking about this AFC North, oh, it's competitive. The best division of football. Not for the right reasons. It's competitive because nobody has taken the bull by the horns and showed that they are going to be a reliable team come January. The Browns, I get it. I do want to give them credit for this win. Resilient. And all these Deshaun Watson heads, you know what I'm saying? He's a rapist. I get it. I get it. Okay, Massage Watson.
Come on out, you rapist.
But Massage Watson needed a massage after that game. Okay, my guy had a leg injury, a shoulder injury, and guess what? He showed resilience. He won the game. He did what he had to do. He made some scramble plays and improv plays, and he outperformed Lamar Jackson in the clutch. I get it. But I'm not, even though I'm picking them to win this division because I think they will, they had a muff punt. They should have lost the game off special teams. It was a muff punt, a missed field goal, an interception return for a touchdown, the first play of the game. That's something that happened against the Steelers. We can't continue this undisciplined football and think you're going to win long term. Now, let me get to the Steelers here, okay? I saved them for last for a reason. Let me get to the Steelers here, okay? Listen, I'm not going to – this has nothing to do with Mike Tomlin being overrated, my famous take. It's not. Well, it has nothing to do with that. I never said he was a bad coach. You know what I'm saying? I never did. Like, a lot of people think and they mistake the overrated for bad. Never said he was a bad coach. He is a good coach. He's a Hall of Fame coach. So make sure that we don't get carried away and emotional with the take, but we add context to everything and understand what I'm trying to get at. He's a good coach, and the Steelers are winning games. But I had Steelers fans in my DM telling me, listen, Leel, you're right. I don't know how the hell we only lost 3 games this year. Steelers fans telling me this. They don't know how the hell they only lost 3 games. Okay? So what that tells me is that they are winning games the way how they are winning games, and it's not going to be sustainable. You cannot bullcrap the game for 3 quarters, and then you're going to win in the 4th and think that's sustainable every week. Kenny Pickett is pedestrian. He's a pedestrian quarterback. Okay, he tries to turn it on in the 4th quarter. I get it. It's not cute, and I'm not criticizing them because it's not cute. I understand you win how you win. You play defense, special teams, you win that way. It's like a boxer. And when you talk about boxing, it's like jab. Set up the jab, win on points with the jab. That's what the Steelers like to do. I get it. They don't got knockout power. They're not fun to watch. I get it. However, why is Matt Canada still there? Why is Matt Canada still there? Okay, the chickens are going to come home to roost eventually when you talk about the Steelers. In closing, in my first lap, long first lap, I apologize ahead of time, okay, or end of time, whatever. All 4 teams, I cannot trust either of these 4 teams, but unfortunately, I have to pick a favorite, and right now, the Browns will be that favorite right now.
No,
listen, real quick, I just don't want to. And you can never say my guy and Deshaun Watson in the same sentence. It can't. Deshaun Watson's nobody's guy no more. He's
Yeah, you're right about that.
he can't. He gotta get
You're
his
right.
kids before we get started. But
Nah, you're right. I don't condone that behavior. Let me make that very clear on this show. We don't do that over here. Okay.
Come on out, you rapist!
Real quick, Lil made a great point. It's the Steelers are very untrustworthy offensively. They actually scored 30 points less than what their defense has allowed, and they lost 3 games. So that's correct. The Bengals, I think they may have just lost Henderson for the season. I think he had a really bad injury. I didn't see any updates yet, but he had a bad injury towards the end of that game against the Texans, and I don't know what his status is for the remainder of the season. But the injury didn't look good. He was unable to walk on his own strength when he walked to the sideline. So it's gonna be interesting what happens defensively. We all know the Bengals offense this year has been hit or miss. I don't know what's going on over there, but there's a lot happening in that division that it primes kind of that defensive strength of the Browns to kind of win it, because the Browns are already a run heavy team, and if the defense is playing as strong as they are, their time of possession is going to be on their side every single game. It's going to be very difficult to remove that. And I think that enables them to take that division. I think that's why it makes them the favorite to win. But, as we all said, that division is up for grabs for anybody, because anyone could go on a run at any given time, and we're seeing it. So it's going to be interesting what happens here. It'll be funny enough if all 4 teams somehow, some way sneak into the playoffs. That would be hilarious, to say the least.
And it's funny because the team that I would think would be the most trustworthy, because I've seen them do it the last couple of years, it might not even get in, and that's the Bengals.
Cincinnati. Yep.
And that's because of the ground that they had to cover. It's not that they're playing bad. They lost to my MVP front runner. It was a shootout. They lost at the end. It wasn't a bad loss. They should have won that game. It's not a terrible loss, but it could have been a game they should have won, you could argue. But still, it's the ground that they had to cover that didn't afford them the opportunity for a game like that in which they lost. So they got to make sure that they win on Thursday, because if they lose to the Ravens, they're going to be 0-2 against the Ravens this year. Okay, they're already 0-1 against the Browns this year. So they have a lot of ground to cover. My thing here with the Browns, and the only reason why I'm taking them as the favorites, is because of, like you said, the time of possession, being able to run the football. I saw Kareem Hunt on Sunday having a very, physical, sequence there when he scored in the end zone, running the ball hard.
Yeah.
They got Jerome Ford. They can run the football. They got Watson's legs to be able to scramble and do the things that he do outside of the pocket. And they play good defense as well. And they got arguably the best defender in the league in Myles Garrett, who obviously is making plays. So I just reflect back to a couple years ago when Watson went into Mahomes' backyard and had a 24-0 lead. Now, I understand they didn't win that game, but he had a 24-0 lead when he was on the Texans against Mahomes in his backyard. So if anything, maybe this year he could potentially, go there and cause some havoc. But either way, with that being said, I really don't trust any of these 4 teams right now, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.